What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new football news video where we again have to talk about the corruption in the Premier League because 3 English referees were allowed to be paid by Manchester City's owners to referee in the United Arab Emirates Football League. And what is absolutely staggering is that English referees have not officiated a single match all season except for a match that took place 48 hours before the Tottenham-Liverpool game, and 3 referees who were working in that game were also being paid by the Manchester City owners, the United Arab Emirates. And according to former chief of PGMOL, this is why I'm making this video, because according to Keith Hackett, who is a former leader of PGMOL, the current leader is Howard Webb, and the former chief of PGMOL, the referees union, said that he would not have allowed Darren England and Michael Oliver and Simon Hooper to accept very lucrative offers, very lucrative contracts by the league, who is controlled by Manchester City's owners, to referee there. And that should be a given. And not only is it in itself very questionable for Premier League referees and VAR referees to do business directly or indirectly with actual owners of Premier League referees, and there is no coincidence that Manchester City didn't receive one apology from the PGMOL, and also they got awarded 8 penalties already this season. Basically, they are getting a penalty every second game this season. And it takes place in a very high-risk environment, in a country where dictatorship is the norm, and in an area with very high corruption. Remember that the Qatar World Cup was awarded to Qatar because every single official who voted, bar one, was proved to be bribed, to be paid off. Every single one of them got convicted and they got thrown into jail, or they got very serious punishments. Michael Oliver is probably the best referee in England, and he doesn't look like he is impartial. But if we look at his body of work this season, it's one scandalous call after another, one controversy after another. And also, what is staggering is that a lot of referee controversy benefit Manchester City, or they benefit Newcastle, or they hurt their rivals, like Liverpool. But even Arsenal got very questionable calls this season, and a lot of other teams as well. And there are some very odd, very unusual statistics, which is another reason why I'm making this video, to highlight this and to shine a light on this, and so you guys can get more informed. So if you appreciate that, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new around here, so you get more in-depth videos like this. So 75% of Michael Oliver's yellow cards given were for complaints they were given to Manchester United players, which is also, of course, a direct rival of Newcastle and Manchester City this season. So it's very suspicious as well. He gives Manchester United's captain a yellow for approaching him, just saying it was on the ball, it was on the ball. So when a player is not hurling abuse at you, he's not touching you, he's not pushing you, he's just saying it was on the ball, and you give a yellow card to him for that, that's very suspicious. When, for example, the Everton ManCity game, 7 or 8 ManCity players were rushing towards the referee. They were circling around him. They were screaming in his face, and yet none of them got a yellow card for that. None of them got a yellow for that. And also, remember the Liverpool goal, which was disallowed when Salah was in an offside position against Burnley? Manchester City scored a goal very similar to that, where the Man City player even touched the ball. He was clearly in the line of sight of the goalkeeper. The Man City player was offside, and he even slightly touched the ball. and yet it was an Nathan Ake goal, and yet that was given. It's a completely identical situation to the Liverpool goal. So it's one rule for Liverpool and all the other teams, and it's another rule when ManCity are playing. So there are too many coincidences, too many suspicious subjective calls going on and given, which benefit Manchester City, which benefit Newcastle United sometimes. But I think Man City get the most benefit, of course, because a lot of these referees were given big contracts to work for a league which is controlled by Manchester City's owners. How is there not a conflict of interest? How is there not a lawsuit happening in the Premier League because of this? How are lawyers not looking into this and suing the Premier League or suing the referees themselves for accepting these lucrative contracts to work for the league, the United Arab Emirates Football League, which never ever appointed any other English referee? Just this season they appointed 3 of them just 48 hours before the Tottenham Liverpool game, and also in all the other games there was not one European referee except Benjamin Cortus, a German referee, which was appointed once. In all the other games there were no European referees refereeing in the United Arab Emirates. So that's a lot more than suspicious and a lot more than just a coincidence. Why on earth is Michael Oliver or Darren England or Simon Hooper, the 3 referees who refereed to work for the United Arab Emirates Football League, why are they always involved in a lot of controversy? Why on earth is he and Darren England always appointed to call these controversial games where, either Man City are involved or Man City's title rivals are involved? It's not a conspiracy theory to actually question if these referees shouldn't be deemed to have a conflict of interest due to dealing with directly with Manchester City's owners. And it's actually remarkable and shocking and disgraceful that this is even allowed to happen in the Premier League, the richest league in the world. And yet corruption is happening in front of our eyes. Football fans deserve better than to have their games called by referees who, in the eyes of most of the public, have a clear conflict of interest. It's as simple as that, because surely you will benefit Manchester City when their owners have given you big fat contracts for a lot of money, with the potential that you will be called back in the future to referee in the United Arab Emirates again if you referee the games in the Premier League which benefit the Manchester City's owners. Keith Hackett, the former chief of PGMOL, he actually said that the referee who asks whether they can referee in the United Arab Emirates or not, or in any country which is directly an owner of a Premier League club. So for example, in the Saudi League, if any English referees would want to referee there, they would have to seek permission from Keith Hackett. And he said, I can tell you that permission would be declined. I do not question Michael Oliver's integrity or the other referees' integrity. Michael Oliver is our number 1 referee and I want him to officiate Premier League games. He will have plenty of time to officiate overseas when he retires, like Howard Webb. And that's the only right answer that should be given. These referees should only be allowed to referee outside of the Premier League in countries where the country is actually directly affiliated with the Premier League clubs after they retire and they don't referee in the Premier League anymore. When you are not refereeing in the Premier League anymore and you are retired, you are allowed to referee in these countries, pick up a big fat paycheck, that's fine. But when you are currently an active Premier League referee, how can you be allowed to referee in the United Arab Emirates and get paid directly by the Manchester City owners when you are already refereeing the Man City team or their rivals? How is that allowed? How is that not a big, fat, massive conflict of interest? That's what I want to understand. And I mean, it says it all about the standard of English referees that Michael Oliver is the number 1 referee in the country. The big question is, when will PGMOL hold their dodgy, corrupt referees accountable for making these huge mistakes, which are altering the Premier League table, which are altering results of Premier League games, massive Premier League games that has massive repercussions for the clubs involved, because these refereeing mistakes could actually cost Liverpool a Premier League title. That's why I'm making these videos, to shine a light on it. The problem is Howard Webb was a dirty referee when he refereed. He favored Manchester United so many times that there was a meme which was even posted by a Liverpool player, actually an active Liverpool player at the time, Ryan Babel. He posted a picture of Howard Webb in a Manchester United shirt because so many times he refereed games where he favored Manchester United or punished their opponents. So when Howard Webb was an active referee, he wasn't a great referee. He was a very controversial, very dodgy referee, and yet he's the head of PGMOL. So why do we expect the PGMOL to be any better when Howard Webb was the referee? I'm not sure, but yeah, there are a lot of fishy things going on, and I will keep shining a light on it, and I will keep using my platform and using my voice to stand up for what's right, because what these referees are doing to the English game, what these referees are doing to the Premier League is an absolute disgrace. They are hurting the Premier League's image around the world, and how can these referees continue refereeing in the Premier League when they got directly paid by the Manchester City owners? That's what I want to know. Why is there not an independent investigation going on into this stuff? So Michael Overwood, Darren England, Cook and Dan Cook were all involved in the United Arab Emirates League, getting directly paid by the ManCity owners to referee there, collecting big fat paychecks. So what I want to know, how was this allowed? How was this ratified by the PGMOL? Probably Howard Webb got a big nice envelope with a lot of cash as well. But it's time for talk about other things as well, because Bobby Firmino, it has been rumored that he wants to leave his club, Al Ahly. He scored 3 goals on his debut, but Firmino hasn't hit the back of the net since then, and he has become frustrated with Al Ahly's system, with the clubs willing to loan him out in the new year. So would you take Bobby Firmino back on a loan deal to Liverpool? Let me know in the comments below. I would actually take him back just for the period, just because Salah is going to the Africa Cup of Nations, and just to have him as an insurance policy. And what a great comeback story that would be. I mean, I remember Robbie Fowler, before he hung up his boots, he played for Liverpool for a period of time under Rafa Benitez, and that was a great story. When he scored his first goal back at Liverpool, that was absolutely celebrated by the whole fan base. And Bobby Firmino is almost as big a legend as Robbie Fowler. Steven Gerrard said, I obviously know Bobby extremely well. I've been a massive fan. I followed him for years. At the moment, he's Al Ahly's player, so it's very difficult for me to comment on that situation. But I've loved Bobby Firmino since the first day I watched him. I'm a huge fan. He belongs to on the club, so I won't sit here and name names. And Bobby Firmino said in his book that he didn't really want to leave Liverpool. He said, I reflected a lot and I realized that God's plan was to take me somewhere else. The signs were all there, but I had been stubborn. God didn't want me to stay in Liverpool, but I was insisting. I wanted to stay. I didn't listen, but I couldn't avoid it anymore after some time. It was time to accept it. I decided it was time to seek another challenge for myself, another purpose. My time at Liverpool had come to an end. It had been a beautiful story that I wanted to finish the right way. We are very grateful for everything we experienced in England. All of our dreams, mine and my family's, were fulfilled. We experienced the greatest joys and triumphs. It was all so intense, and we didn't want to leave with any bitterness, anger or resentment. And I think Bobby Firmino handled his departure from Liverpool absolutely brilliantly, just like Sadio Mane. He left as an absolute legend, and he also didn't select his club, but only after he left Liverpool. So he didn't talk to any clubs when he was still a Liverpool player, and hopefully maybe one day he can come back to play for Liverpool just for another season or another half a season. I would take Bobby Firmino back on loan for like half a season from January until May, because that gives us another insurance up front to actually, if we have even injuries, then Bobby Firmino could be there for us. But yeah, you know, at the moment we have 4 attackers for 3 positions because Mo Salah leaves after the Newcastle game to the Africa Cup of Nations. Is that enough? If one of them get injured, then Liverpool will have very little rotation options. But we have Dominic Szoboszlai, we have Harvey Elliott, we have even Curtis Jones who can play on the winger positions, and as a striker, Jota, Gakpo, Darwin Núñez can all play there. So I think we will be fine even without Bobby Firmino. And I'm really looking forward to the Liverpool-Newcastle game. Happy New Year, guys, if you are watching this after midnight in your country. And I hope that you guys have a brilliant 2024. And Jurgen Klopp lost his first game against Newcastle after he became manager of Liverpool. But since then, he's unbeaten in 15 meetings. Liverpool have won. Sorry, he's unbeaten in 14 meetings. Liverpool has won 10 games, drawn 4, and lost only 1 of their previous meetings against Newcastle United under Jurgen Klopp's managerial career, and that came back in December 2015, meaning that after Jurgen Klopp lost his first game against Newcastle, he has won 10 and drawn 4 of his next 14 games. But Newcastle will be a tough team to beat down, because they will probably play in a very low block defense, and Liverpool struggled against a very low block defense against Manchester United, because Newcastle have lost I think 6 of their previous 7 games, so they are not in great form. They are going to Anfield and they will try everything to try and actually get something from the game. So they will defend deep and play on the counter attack. But Liverpool need to score a goal early in the first half, so Newcastle opens up a little bit. And I'm really looking forward to the game, and I'm really looking forward to making a lot more videos for you guys in 2024 as well. I'm also working on a brand new FC 24 Liverpool career mode episode, so that will be out either today or tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.